Hello, hello, welcome back. So, I am finally getting around to this. This actually took a little bit of time. I apologize. I've had a lot on my plate right now. Um, and I tried recording this again. I'm like, oh yeah, these rosters are only going to get even bigger. So, I did have to split Throw Some Lawls up. uh, Unfortunately, it was just it's not a big lull, but it is still like a lot for me to handle at once. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna split it up. Plus, I feel like there's just like so much to talk about in this first batch that I can afford to. I think people understand. Um, so Throw Some Law Z is interesting. It's in that it is like probably it's like two Lawls technically. It's a combination of Throw Some Law back at him and Throw Some Law Z, and it's because of that. It's got a very unique history. I feel like it's very special in that the first throw some law back at him is like it started with number 62 here. That's when like Chin was like still active. Just to like give you like a time frame of like how like crazy that is. And it went up to like number 57 before they kind of stopped for a bit. Then we got club. And then Miro, the creator, decided, I'm gonna stop for now. I feel like I'm kind of tired, and I was very sad about this. I remember at the time I actually didn't really know this law at all. Like I literally got introduced to Throw Some Law back at him. I think through the glob, and I was just like, whoa, this animation's cool. What the hell? And it's done. What's happening? Why? No, come back. And I was very sad. And a little bit before this, Law Zero happened, and this also has a very unique style of characters. A lot of them, and it went going for a while, but I feel like it had some struggles as well. It uploaded a lot more frequently, but a lot of it wasn't like it was good. It wasn't crazy or anything, but it was a good Law for the time, and I think they talked a bit as well. It was run by Hammerin, I should say, Hammerin, and I think at some point there's like, no, why don't we just like combine together and our like best aspects and like become one Law, and like I think it was a good move. I think the fusion of these two Laws was very healthy, because I think like while we all like for a long time I think it was kind of accepted like, yeah, no, like making your own Law is kind of like a one-man show. Obviously we'll give you help and everything, but no one's ever really done a team effort like this before. And I think Law Zero and Throw Some Law back at him being able to both survive by combining their talents was like such a healthy thing to do. I think it's been very good for this Law as a whole. Because like Throw Some Law back at him, well, it has an amazing name. I think it has like a giant problem where like the characters are like so obscure. And I think that's good though inherently, because Law's original slogan was like make your own roster, like grab the characters you're interested in, you're passionate about, and make a Law roster with them. And Throw Some Law back in is like literally the Law, like where you probably won't know any of these characters, but you will learn to like them because they're all very well competently made. It's just because it's so obscure, it couldn't really grow and grab many people. And by the time it did, it was kind of over. And then Law Zero, it has some very good characters and ideas and concepts, but I feel like the Hammerman is just very busy, obviously. So he kind of needed some help as well with like an animator, and like this is just like the perfect way to like bring both of these aspects together. These niche characters can survive with this Law of like more notable characters, but also still having some obscure picks, and it works. It's very nice. It's very nice. That being said, I think this Law has another like big giant problem, in that because it is so old, it's never really been able to patch any of its mistakes. And it's like it's this Law is still going on right now. After they fused, they've kind of like gotten their bearings. They're making a lot of cool ideas. But this Law has never gotten an update patch, and it's gotten some like singular videos, like changing a final smash or a special move or something around as like separate things, but never like a full update patch specifically. And I think of any Law, this one is probably the one that's hurt the most by that, because it is just that old. And a lot of these characters really need like some tweaking. Like like they just need like that assistance really badly. So like characters just kind of need that upkeep, you know. And if they don't get that, they kind of start rapidly falling behind in quality with everyone else you're making right now. And I think that's a huge shame because a lot of these characters are really cool, and I want to see them, you know, more. But they desperately need some love. So I am hoping that, you know, while I am making this review series, I am talking about these characters, I want to try and not judge it by, you know, animation quality too much as well. And I still want to say that, you know, even if these characters are placed low right now, they can definitely be improved with even just like a single update patch. I think that's just like the thing this Lawl desperately needs right now. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna start off with the first set of characters, which is from Throw Some Law Back on Him, and it's Waligi. Literally who? Alright, that's the only time I'm gonna make that joke, I'm sorry. But like, this is like the character that I think I've always been the most befuddled by in this Law. Like, I can kind of get a vibe of like what this creator likes. These are very strange characters. They're all like fancy people, or just like weird effects, so like old-timey like stuff. But who is this? Why is this like a Super Mario World Mario, but black? And he has a floating head flying around him. Why is he called Waligi? What is he? I don't get it. I just did not get it. But it makes me so interested because I want to know what is he? Like, that's why I'm so glad I did this series, because I want to know more about these characters like this. And I feel like, oh god, I get it now. Like, he's a sprite comic character. Duh. That makes sense why he's so surreal and strange. And he doesn't, like, feel the same out of every other character. It makes so much more sense now. I will say, he actually is probably, like, my favorite. Like, I mean, we don't have that many sprite comic-based characters. But he's probably, like, my favorite because he is just so strange and weird. And strange. Like, I love how, like, all of his moves kind of have like a lot of strange effects, or he'll launch stuff, but he's hidden behind like other effects, like the neutral B explosion thing. He can jump out of it and make the wall rise higher by just moving. And his recovery, he can just, it's like a launching projectile that he doesn't follow with, but it, like, explosion protects around him. And then he has like a Psycho Waluigi thing reference in one of his specials. It's so strange. And then he has like a weird feather trap move that he can like put down and protect himself, which he doesn't really need because he's so small. He's probably not going to get hit by much anyway. Or maybe he will. I mean, he does have a floating head. I don't know if that head has ever been established to be a separate hitbox. But yeah, like, and then his final smash, his is like literally just turning you into a unique food item, which is so cool. He's so interesting. I love this character. It's just the problem, especially with this character, because he is like the first. Originally, Throw Some Law Back at Him wasn't like other Lawls where it had a UI. It had a thing where it would like whenever a character would attack, a little damage percentage would pop up over a character, kind of like a TF2 like hit number. And unfortunately, that kind of makes a lot of the stuff harder to read and understand for a while. And again, he is old. He's like a first moveset. But I think for a first moveset, he's honestly really interesting. I like this character. It sets a standard like for this Law. Like, yeah, you're gonna see some crazy, weird ideas. And Waluigi is very like there's like 3 characters here that have always kind of captured me. Throw Some Law Back on him. And it's him, and we'll get to others in a little bit. But yeah, no, I love this character. I think he's really interesting. I hope we get another update patch in the future. Things like how his hurt box kind of works. Is the floating head like a separate thing? Like, I want to know. I want to know more about this character. Use him more. Also, I love how his alt costumes are representing other character from the Sprite comics. That's also cool. That's really, really nice. I like him. Spitting Image Reagan, I believe this is? Yeah. So this is a puppet character, which I wasn't really vaguely aware of this series, like, at all. I didn't really know what this is. I could infer that it's like a parody series where people make fun of like puppets and such of the presidents. And it goes to like an absurd degree. I love this concept a lot because like one of the things I actually love just in general about this law is that, you know, even though all these characters aren't traditional, like you could easily just make them move and animate very the same, but there's some law back in them. It's something cool where all these characters have different movement mechanics. They feel very like different. Like a spitting image Reagan kind of acts like a puppet, where he kind of molds like a spring when he jumps. He has some stretchy animations. A lot of his attacks are launching things out of himself. He can kind of bend under the stage. His crouch kind of makes him crumple. It's so cool. It gives him like, he's so different, and I love that. That's like such a good way of incorporating like a puppet aspect. I just love his moveset as well. Like, he has to take down notes to like remember things. I was like, yeah, what if I place down a note that like does like a thing in a later date? I think I forget the specifics now, but like, and it had like interaction with a lot of his other kit, and then he can shoot his brain, and then he hides behind Bonzo as like a counter, and it hops along the ground. Oh my god. This character is full of like such a goofy personality. I love him a lot. I love him a lot. He's very, very good. I like this character conceptually. He's also, I mean, some aspects of him could probably be a little like strange, but again, this is like an old character. I'm sure this could be ironed out. So a lot of these characters are gonna go in so good. I don't know how many are gonna go in the near flawless, just because like, again, I have to like really dig into these characters before I think I do that. But I feel content with like putting him here. Like, spinning him as Reagan's like, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. Hulk Hogan. This is another character that I kind of like I knew was in this law. This is the, but like I didn't really know what to think about him, because he's different from like what I would expect from a wrestling character. I think he's just hurt inherently by the fact that because he's a wrestling character, you kind of expect, oh, he's gonna do some grappling stuff, but he's also Hulk Hogan, so he has a lot of like advertising things, and because of that, we don't really see also many of his standards, so it feels like he's kind of like half complete, if that makes sense. Like, I'm expecting more from it. Like, I think that's just the problem, is that he just doesn't have any standards. I think if he had standards to go with his moveset, he would feel like more complete. But I do like what he has. I like the idea that he can buff himself up, or just use his the thing as a projectile. I also love the editing of the videos, like the number 1, number 2. It's Miro was clearly having a lot of fun with this character. I love the leg drop can actually break through platforms if he taunts beforehand. That's funny. I love that as well. I hope that gets kept if there was ever an update patch. I like, because there's not many characters that can just break platforms. But that's like a very creative use of like the concept. Like, you have to actually commit to doing it as this character. He's probably like, he doesn't have a good recovery. He's probably not, I mean, he has a very fast projectile, but he's probably not like that fast either. So it gives him like it's just cool. There's a lot of like cool ideas with this character. I like him a lot. I'm gonna put him in So Good as well. I think he's very neat. Oh god, only disturbing effect and most haunted. I think I got it. Oh damn, it's shortened down. It's shortened down name and everywhere else, but that is the full name. Only disturbing effect and most haunted. This is one of the 3 characters I mentioned before that I genuinely didn't know, like, what the fuck is that? But like, I always wanted to know like more about them, because like they were just like so confusing to me. Like, I didn't comprehend what they were, but I was curious. I wanted to know. And now that I know what he is, he's literally like a tease about like, oh yeah, like funny effects in like ghost hunting shows and like paranormal things. I love that so much. That's so cool. I watched a lot of Paranormal State growing up as a kid with my family. So I love like ghost hunting stuff in general. I think it's really cool, and it's a very untapped aspect of Lawl. I think the only real other character we have like this is Carlos Trejo, And Boris is only like is a ghost hunter, but he doesn't really do that in his moveset. So basing a character on those like goofy effects is very funny. Like he transforms, he like spits I think gas or something like that. It's just like it's so cool. I love this character so much conceptually, and he's just got like a very different like style to him. He's very like he's just a thing. And then for lore cutscenes, it's a I think people from the show, like the cast members and such, are the ones that like kind of take his place for lore, where like they're kind of talking and stuff to like the spirit, and they're like people are getting possessed and stuff. It's so hammy and goofy, and it works so well. I kind of wish they were in the moveset more, honestly, because it's just really that funny. But I can see why they aren't. You know, I can get it. It would be a lot of work, but no, I think this is great. This is actually like, honestly, after learning more about this character, I think they're probably like one of my favorites right now. Yeah, I think this is a very interesting character conceptually. Oh, okay. You know, I guess we're skipping ahead a little bit. I didn't realize I didn't move him after I redid this. Shit. Okay, we'll talk about it right now. We'll talk about it right now that I'm seeing it. So, Black Friday Woody was a part of Law 0. And yeah, he is, like, yeah, as you can see, he is, like, probably, like, in my top 10 for favorite Law characters, period. He's probably in my top 5, honestly. I just think he's so interesting as, like, a character. Just, like, I like sketchy characters in general. I think they're very interesting aesthetically. And the idea of basing a moveset on a scrapped character concept is so cool. It's such a really good idea. And then also, like, Tom Hanks hated the role personally, but he nails that asshole character. And playing assholes in fighting games is inherently a very satisfying thing, because it feels good when you beat them, and it feels good when you win as them. Like, there's like no losing of playing a character like this. It is a very awesome experience. And a lot of his animations are honestly not that bad. I mean, they are kind of limited inherently by the fact that, you know, he can't really animate like everyone else. Because again, scrap character, he only works in like frames. But I love him so much. I think the only problem I've ever really personally had with this character is just the fact that, you know, this is a problem with Law 0 itself. Or I guess throw some Law Z, we'll just bunch it together. It's inherently, I think, after a certain point in the Law community, we all kind of started getting into naming a character's playstyle, and then designing a moveset, and then like the moveset itself doesn't actually like correlate to that playstyle. And I think that's kind of it kind of like makes like, these characters kind of feel a bit at some points. But I try not to let that get to me. At the end of the day, what matters is the moveset itself good. The playstyle might not match, but you know, that's something that can be ironed out later. You know, these characters haven't got an update patch yet. And Black Friday Woody was stated to be a risk-reward character. And I don't really think that was captured perfectly in the moveset. Like, the Slinky is his down neutral B. It makes the biggest point there. Where, he can summon Slinky with his neutral B, and then the Slinky will appear. And he'll pick up items and attack people if they get close by springing out. And then Woody can press neutral B again to yell at him. But all it does is make the move worse. And I never really got this, because, like, why would he want to yell at Slinky? It's not like Slinky moves whenever he presses neutral B a second time, you know? There's, like, no... It's not like he also works on command either. Slinky is fully automatic. So, what's the point of yelling at him? What is the benefit? What is the risk-reward aspect? It was like that's just like if you accidentally press the B button, he might not do something next time. I don't know. I don't really get it, personally. But other than that, I mean, his moveset is really, really good. I think the final smash is very, very, very nice. The thing where you can put down, like, the traps and stuff is just... I just love this character. I think, again, like, the only thing that sucks is just, like... Inherently, he is very limited, but what screen time he has had has been very nice. And also, he has a whole standard showcase, which is, I think this Lawl is very good about like making standard showcases for its characters at the very least, which I'm very appreciative of. Also, he has a very good forward throw. This Lawl in general has a very good throwing animations. Like, to throw him out the window is so funny. I hope that's his kill throw or not his back throw. I think it's just funny and it makes him different from everyone else. But yeah, alright. We're getting back in order now. Buster Kong. Funny Leo Luster. I love this character. I remember like I was watching through a lot of these movesets again, obviously, for like the first time. And I got to the neutral, and he just goes, whoa! And then it just stops. Nothing happens. No one gets hit. And I just remember bursting out laughing because it just caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting that. Oh my god, this character is just very funny. I think, you know, it just continues the trend of like every character outside of Team Donkey Kong himself just feels inherently better and funnier in motion than him. He just captures that goofiness a lot, really, really well. Yeah, I love how he can just yell at you for like not doing your job, and then he can just like shake his like wah, and it stuns. His final smash where his voice changes, he just gets a whole transformation, is honestly super cool and well animated for the time. That was very, very nice. Yeah, no, I think he's great. I think he's excellent. Even he's very funny. I do think it's weird that he has a vehicle move. But from what I've seen of it's like in his recovery, but I guess it kind of makes sense from what I know of the Donkey Kong Country cartoon. This is just a lot of mechanical stuff, just everywhere. There's planes and things. So yeah, I'll also put him in So Good. I actually really like him a lot. 60s Moomin Troll. This is a weird character for me personally, because I feel like this is like, of all the characters, and throw some Law back at him, I feel like this is the character I still don't totally understand. And I have the most pre-exposure to this character, which is even weirder. Like, I've seen Moomins around. Like, I've seen, like, the source, like, just sparingly in screenshots in multiple places. And I just don't know, like, anything specific about them beyond that. They just look like hippos to me. Just like, I'm like, okay, what is this? What is this source based on? I know it's, like, one of those old-timey cartoons from back then. But, like, I don't know anything else. I don't know what this is meant to do or be. What's it about? And lore cutscenes confuse me even further for this Law, because, like, as a kid, following Moomin Troll, I'm like, okay, who's the kid? Why is the kid not in the moveset? I'm even more befuddled. That being said, the moveset's also mostly fine. Like, I mean, it says, like, the neutral B, like, it goes in, like, a roulette, and he can, like, convert out of it to other moves. Kind of like a Lawl's grandpa, I feel like. But he feels pretty good. Like, he has a lot of movement options. Like, it says the punching thing is pretty weak, but he still moves forward while punching. He just kind of gets stuck in place afterwards while still punching. So it could be worse. The sword move was very interesting. It's very well animated as well. I mean, yeah. I think, again, the only thing I did kind of like, I feel like this is like the one character where I watch their moveset, I'm like, okay, this is a good moveset, but I don't really feel like I understand what the character's about. I don't know if that's just me. Like, maybe like that's like a symptom of the time. We didn't really like explain much of what character was. We just kind of made movesets. Yeah, I have no clue what this is. I just know he's 60s Moomin Troll and they have like weapons and guns and stuff. I still think they're neat. Like, I don't think they're. I think I kind of have to knock it down. Maybe because I feel like this Law is generally very good about telling me, okay, what is this character about? What do they do? And I think this is like the only character in the original throw some Law back at him set aside. That I don't really feel like I got that explanation with. So I feel like just for that, I will knock it down a little bit. Maybe if we got an update patch that kind of clarified some things, I would, or maybe even you could tell me in the comments that like if it's a perfectly accurate representation, this character is just weird. Then I'll move him up as well. Oh God, Doctor. I know it's Dr. Nick Laskowitz. I forget like the last name, but I know it's Dr. Nick because I called him Dr. Nick to shorten it. So this is like a really interesting character. I didn't really understand. I just knew he was a live action guy, but I didn't really like know much more beyond that. And I watched the moveset. I'm like, whoa, this is a cool character. This is a very fascinating character, actually. So from what I can tell from his source, he's based on like a maybe like a movie or like just an education video or something like that. He's just strange. And he's a roller coaster inventor, basically. And he just makes all these absurd contraptions that aren't physically possible. Like, there's, like, clearly, like, some CGI, I think, used in the videos. But they're all, like, so strange, and he looks so fascinating. And he kind of, like, takes that aspect into his moveset where he's a very technical character. Kind of like Smash 4 Pac-Man, if that makes sense, where all of his moves have very different properties depending on how you hold on to them or how they animate and move. And like the neutral B, if it'll go forward a little bit and then it'll stop. And depending on if you grab it while it's moving or it's stopped, it has a different effect. His down B, I forget if that's the wedding cake or like where he puts out a ship part. And depending on like what the ship part is, there's like 3 different variations. They all do different things, and when they collide with the neutral B, they do different things. And then his side B, he can like build something with that can like aim differently. It's a stance move, so you think it's kind of bad, but he can aim it and like mold it in a certain way, so he can hit you from super obtuse angles you wouldn't expect. It's so cool. It is like such a fascinating it's like such a complicated moveset that I'm like amazed that this is like a character. Like this is a very high concept character. Would it work in a game? I don't know. Would it work in general? I don't know. But there was clearly an idea here, and I am wowed enough by it that I do want to put it in near flawless at least. This character is fascinating to like watch in motion. I hope we see more of him soon, and I hope this aspect of like creation and creating weird objects and how they interact with each other is kept in an update patch, because I think he's just so fascinating. Please keep that aspect in him. I love him a lot. Alright, Melee's Moon. So this is the last of the 3 characters where I was like, what the hell was this? This is like the mascot character, I feel like, from Throw Some Law back at him before it fused with Throw Some Law Z. He's just like a big moon with a strange face. It kind of reminds me of Nosferatu. And I don't really feel like I still understand the source of like what he is. But I feel like I kind of get it enough to be like, whoa, this is cool. This is like a very strange character. And I think I might have been wrong, but this is the oldest source to be in Lawl. I think so. This is like a very early black and white film character. He just has a lot of strange properties that I also really like. Like he can spit a missile out that it's a very good projectile. I mean, he's like a turtle. He doesn't want to move. He just wants to shoot out stuff. He's kind of like a zoner in that aspect. But the missile can be kind of deflected back at him, and it'll get lodged in his eye, and he'll get stunned. And you think, oh, that's kind of bad. It's not very helpful to him. And then the down B is just super cool in that basically he sends out like these 2 little girls that kind of orbit around this moon in a left and right pattern, and they'll follow him when he moves. And it's so cool because like they can't really be interacted with like at all, or they're gonna attack you instead. So despite the fact he's a very big body guy, you basically just get yourself a free barrier that can't really be stopped. It's a very small thing on the ground, and they will go after you if you attack him. And even if like he gets a projectile deflected back at him, the opponent has to be careful about them as well. And that's so cool. I love that. Like, he has a clear game plan in mind for what he wants to do. And then his recovery is also weirdly excellent. It's a very big swooping, it's big and fast, very swooping. I think I forgot the neutral B off the top of my head. I think it was like a smoke thing where I think it like altered. I think it slows him down, but it buffs everything else around him, which is cool. I actually like that aspect a lot. The idea of making yourself slower. But so he's already like a big guy, so he probably doesn't benefit from being slower. But you know, if he's zoning anyway, I mean, what's gonna hurt him from like giving like all these extra effects, you know? Yeah, I like this character as well. I think he's very, you know, he's very, very nice. I just want to know, like, I just want to know more about him. Like, what are his alt costumes? I want to, like, know what his alt colors are going to be like. I want to know. I want to know. He's cool. See, I am also putting him in near flawless. I think, you know, this is one of those Law characters where I think about, like, if I think about, like, what's a very Law character? He would be very, very high up there. He's a very interesting character. Walrus Grandpa. This is another character I feel like this is the one I kind of just forgot the most after watching all these movesets. But I did like him. I liked him a lot. This was like the second to last moveset before Person Went Back and went on hiatus for a bit. And he's cool. He has like he's kind of like Melee's move in a sense, where like his neutral B changes his stats around to be different. And he gets like faster, I think, in exchange for being slower, and he also gets like a lot of like conversion moves. Like he just gets like super strange. He's like a very in-your-face guy. He just wants to get up and brawl, and he's cool. He's very scrappy. I like him for like what looks like a suit mascot costume character. He's very animated. He feels like he's like a good fighting game character, and I love his final smash. His final smash is like so freaky and scary. I love it. And his down B, where he like summons a character that kind of like doesn't really do anything itself, but like he can follow up with it. And it's cool. It's cool. This character has like also has a really good game plan about them. I don't know if I'm super passionate about him, not like the others. I think he's still cool. I think he's interesting. I like him, but I think he's just okay for me personally. I like him a lot, but he's not like exceptional right now. Maybe in a future update patch. Space Ghost with the most. This is a cool character. This is a really, really good character. So, I've been talking a lot about legs in a lot of my videos and stuff. How having good legs is important for making a character animate and move, and without them looking weird. And Space Ghost faces a unique problem in that he doesn't have animating legs, and that's kind of like part of the joke of his source, is that, you know, they're working on a limited budget. So the idea that he kind of just bobs up and down when he moves, but all of his other attacks are very well animated, is so cool. I love that a lot. Also, he makes very good use of the IQ stat a lot. I like that. I feel like some Lawls will make a unique stat, and I'm like, oh, why are you doing that? No, we don't need more of those right now. But like, I like when we take more advantage of the ones that do already exist, that are like, you know, very simple, like IQ. The idea of like getting a stun off of somebody by interviewing them, and they're very like confident and like smart, so they answer very quickly, is cool. I mean, they don't answer. They answer slower because they want to talk about themselves. I mean, I love that concept. It's very, very cool, and it fits this character who's like he's obviously like limited in his movement, so he wants to follow up on characters by slowing them down. And a lot of his moveset is also like very well animated. He also has a normal showcase of his own. That's also very, very good. His taunts are also hilarious. Like that one that'll beat you like it's the 60s taunt is like, oh my god. This is a character that has like a personality, and it shines through in this moveset very, very well. I feel like there's something else I want to talk about as well. It's not coming to me right now though. Yeah, no, I think for right now I'm good. I like this character a lot. I think he's also gonna. Oh yeah, no, the creator or the voice actor of Space Ghost has also seen this moveset. That's really cool. It's really, really cool. I want to make sure I said that. So yeah, I'm putting him in near flawless. I think there's definitely, you know, some tweaking that can be done, but for a first moveset for Lawl 0, he's honestly not that bad. I didn't even really mind the final smash that much. I mean, obviously it got changed, but that's because like first stages, I can see why it would have to be changed out. But I like this character conceptually. I think he's really good. Headmaster Galvatron. So this Lawl has a lot of Transformers, and I feel like Headmaster Galvatron, unfortunately, he is like the second moveset, unfortunately. So he has aged the worst, I feel like. It kind of makes me sad because I like a lot of these other Transformers characters, but he just kind of falls apart a little bit now. He got transformed into like a transforming character with someone else. And I feel like that character is just better than him in every way. We'll talk about them in part 2, obviously, but Headmaster Galvatron as himself, he definitely feels like he's the slowest of all the Transformers characters. And he has a lot of traps that I don't really feel like all work that perfectly together. Like, I think he said he wants to be a zoner or something, and I don't feel like he has enough to do that. I don't know. I still think he's neat. Like, I don't think he's bad per se. I just think he definitely needs like some quality upkeep. He needs a patch to help him out a little bit. Throw you into the furnace. Smell you some new armor. It's Mr. Nether. This is a funny character, like, cause like there's not many VeggieTales characters in Lawl in general. There's like this one, and there's Larry in What If, and I think it's funny that Larry has the projector thing goes, "This is a song about a boy," and then like Mr. Nether has like he puts out a camera as well, and he goes, "Technical difficulties." I think that like dynamic of like one is like showing something, one is like causing an issue is very, very funny. I don't know if this character is a villain or not. He feels like he's a villain, but he's also not like totally villainous. He's just very simple-minded and single-minded. He's got a lot of funny moves that make him feel like he's a villain. As I said, the throw you into the furnace is like one of the best throws in like Lawl period. Again, this Lawl is very good at making very funny throws. And he also has a normal showcase, has a lot of him like throwing the chocolate bunnies around. He can summon like a little partner that boosts his stats, which is very funny, and he's a little guy. He's even in like the art here. He's very tiny, but you can see him. He has a hat and nose. I do feel like some of his moves could be a little tweaked a little bit. Like, again, I think the problem is because he is a VeggieTales character, he doesn't have arms, and his animation is going to inherently be more limited in what he can animate and do. But I think there is a vision here, and I do like him. I do like him a lot, honestly. Yeah, I feel like... I think I also kind of want to put him in near flawless. I like him as well. I think there is definitely, like, he could use a little bit of upkeep as well, but I think the vision is solid here. I like him a lot. I get an idea what he's about. Wile E. Coyote. This is another one where I'm kind of like, I don't know. I didn't grow up with much Looney Tunes, honestly, so I feel like I'm not the best judge about this. But I think what hurts is that, you know, again, multiverses exists now. So a lot of these characters that use certain moves and stuff, they might feel derivative of an actual platform fighter character. And unfortunately, Wile E. Coyote kind of falls in that aspect a little bit, where he kind of feels like he's just Bugs Bunny from Multiverses. And I feel like that's kind of sad, because, like, he has, like, the rocket thing is kind of mostly just the same. He brings out a bunch of Acme products, which I guess is kind of standard for tunes at the time. I think the only really unique thing he has to his name now is like the dehydrated boulder, though. I do like the fact he can put the thing down. I think what was it like the. I think I accidentally said it was for Black Friday Woody, where he'll put down like a painting and he'll start shooting. I think that's cool. That's funny. I like that. I can't remember off the top of my head though. But yeah, like, and he also has like the vehicle thing. I don't know. I don't really. I feel like there's. I mean, he is meant to be a trap setter. You know, like he's trying to catch the thing, the Roadrunner. Maybe it's weird because it feels like the Roadrunner isn't in his moveset itself. Like he's missing that like other half. You know, where he's not like hunting something else during his moveset. Maybe that's why it feels weird. You know? I don't know really what I could suggest for this. Like, would there making one of the specials like a Roadrunner, and if he tries, like, he gets more motivated if it's on the stage as well, and all of his attacks do more damage? I don't know. I guess I'll still put him in, like, he's neat. I don't think he's bad, personally. But he definitely just, he did something about it doesn't feel quite complete. Jib Jab Bush. This is another one of those presidential characters. I think he is also very funny. He's kitted out. Like, this character is, like, I remember this character vaguely, but I forgot, like, just how much of a good, his moveset's honestly really good. It's honestly really good. He has a neutral B where if he doesn't, like, it launches stuff, but if he doesn't, like, stay by at all times, he gets careless, someone else can walk up and use it. I think that's very funny. He has the Crusader, like, sword thing for one of his, attack, which is very funny. Because he's inherently an animated, like a presidential joke character, he can do a lot more Stranger Things, which is so good. And it gives him like a very funny personality. He's just like an armory. I remember him having just a lot of like projectiles and like ways to just get at you. And honestly, like, yeah, I think he's like a very well-designed moveset, honestly. I don't really have much to add to him, personally. Like, he's not very complicated, but he's cool. I like him. Buzzbee. So, I apologize if this the end of these last four kind of feel a little bit more negative. I mean, this one, not all four of these characters are going to be negative, but I feel like it might feel like this end of the video is a bit more negative, so just heads up. I love Buzzbee personally. I love his I love his voice. I love characters with accents like this. I love his style. I love the fact that he's a very tiny character in this Lawl that traditionally has a lot of big heavyweights and big people in general. So just having a little kind of bee little guy is so funny. But oh, this is unfortunately one of those characters that I think because this Lawl never really had an update patch, he suffers like a lot. So he kind of suffers like from an even worse variation of the Wreck-It Ralph problem, where he has a neutral bee and like you can choose between I think blueberries or acorns, and I think the blueberry slows you down. So you obviously always want to use that. That's great. For a small character who's probably very fast, he wants to use that. And then his side B, it makes you have to spell out a word, and it's completely random what it is. So you're stuck in place until you spell the word. And if he attacks you, he just gets the effect ends. This is ridiculous. So not only are you able to slow someone down, but you're basically able to stop them in place completely and make them answer a word trivia thing. My interpretation of it has I think is what it was intended. I don't even know, because it's not really explained much either. But it kind of looks like you're entering your name on when you're typing your name in on the character select, or making your name tag. And I'm like, oh, imagine like you just did that in the middle of the air, and you're just fucked. You're like, that kind of sucks to get hit by, you know? Like you're just gonna get stunned in place and you're gonna fall. You can't. There's no way you could enter that word fast enough before you fall and get KO'd. It's inherently like a very cheap move that's only made worse by another move in his kit that's also kind of cheap. And then I think his down B is like the honeybee thing, and I think it heals him. Like I forget how it works specifically, but I do think it heals him. And it's not. It puts a bad taste in my mouth. Like it's Wreck-It Ralph. I could kind of look past him because he's a lot of his other moves are pretty well designed for the most part. It's just that one move that's just terrible. But Busby just has like multiple moves on top of each other that kind of like ruin his character. So I think I am going to put him at like at the top of I like him a lot, but yeah, he's not the greatest. He kind of I don't even know what I don't even know what I would suggest for that side B. Like this is not a source I'm familiar with. I just see that side B and I'm like, oh no. The final smash is well animated though. I'll give it that. Again, he's a very well animated character. It's just he just needs something. He just needs an update patch or something to like kind of clarify some things, make it easier to deal with. I don't know. But I like him. The Glob 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 Glob. He's the yeast of thoughts and minds. I think that's how the song goes. So this is like an interesting character because he was a meme at the time specifically, but I also do think he fits in the source as well. Like, it fits in this law, not the source. His source is very interesting. It's very strange, which fits, throw some law back at him. And again, this kind of harkens back to Spitting Image Reagan, where he has a very unique mechanic in that he's a big, melty blob. He can't double jump, but he can land on top of you and do damage at first. And he's cool in that because he's a blob, not all of his body needs to be on the platform to consider himself on it. So that helps a lot. Like obviously you have like the ledge thing where like, oh, if you're not far enough to ledge, that sucks. But no, this makes him even more reliable to recover with. But on top of that, he actually has some very good recovery moves as well. He's got a lot of motion, which I think is cool. Heavyweights with like a lot of motion is a very underappreciated mechanic. And then obviously his main gimmick is that he can grapple you and absorb you, and depending on how he moves into doing that, he gets a different stat. I think it's a little obtuse, but it's a cool idea. He can absorb up to like 10 buffs at a time before they start like overlapping. And I think that's cool. The problem I start thinking about is like, now that we have Nazby too and Mr. Krabs, who kind of functions similar as like a character in a platform fighter that needs to build themselves up stat-wise before they can be good, and if they die, they lose all those accumulated stats and have to start from scratch. It makes me reconsider judging these characters. Okay, because Mr. Krabs was like bottom of the barrel in that tier list. He's very bad. So how good is the Glob 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 Glob? And I don't know, because like he can store up to like 10 stats at a time, and that can be pretty good. And after he gets like, I think, what was it, like 3 stats, he can double jump forever, basically. I mean, I don't see until he gets KO'd. So I don't know. Is he broken? Is he good? Is he bad? I think he's on it. There's honestly like some good concepts here, though. I really like him. I don't know if he's broken, but I like him a lot, honestly. And this was obviously the last moveset I think Nero did before they fused their Lawls with the Hammerman. I want to put it in near flawless, but I don't know if I want to do that right now. I could see myself doing it in the future after I look at these characters more thoroughly. But for right now, I think so good is acceptable. Okay, I actually need a second before I talk about this. I'm sorry. Alright. This is the character I was kind of afraid to talk about the most. This is a very complicated character to talk about. No offense to Hammer, personally. I don't want to be mean either, obviously. This is meant to be, you know, a more review series. I think Shaggy is inherently very hard to talk about because I think he's one of like the characters that is hurt the most by the fact that, you know, he's only been able to really be tweaked in increments through various videos, and he hasn't had a full update patch to himself. And he's even hurt even more by the fact we have multiverses now, and it has that Shaggy in it, and that kind of hurts this character. Like, how do we like make this character different or unique in Lawl now? I guess I'll start off with what he does specifically. So he has a neutral B, which he summons Scooby. And Scooby, I think, can like attack for him and retrieve items. It's not very complicated. It's actually very simple. It doesn't really do much else beyond that. His down B, he makes a sandwich. I forget the specifics off the top right now, but it's like it's the move I have the least problem with, so I'm not gonna focus on it too much. And then he has two special moves that focus on Skooks. The side B, which is the sheriff, and the up B, which he swooshes right in. Even like his tagline on the thumbnail is he swooshes right in. And I think this is the part that people fixate on the most about this character, is that he is half based on YouTube poops. Very infamous YouTube poops, though. And it kind of hurts his character. Honestly, I think it's more than just the fact that he focuses on, like, Skooks a lot as well. I feel like there's just inherently, like, this character doesn't really have an identity. Which is strange, because, like, this is Shaggy. This feels like this should be a very easy character to do, you think, right? I think the problem you have to take a step back and realize, you know, this is just Shaggy. This is just Shaggy. I think that was, like, that's, like, the biggest problem you're kind of running yourself into. Like, it is considered just Shaggy, but Scooby is here in this picture, and Scooby is just part of the neutral B. Scooby isn't very well utilized, like, at all. Which I feel like is... If we were just going off, like, okay, who is Shaggy? I feel like one of Shaggy's biggest, most well-known traits is his relationship and his connection with Scooby as a character. That's so core to him. So, I feel like, honestly, making Scooby a very weak neutral B is already like a nail in the coffin. Like, I feel like that's not good. Like, Scooby couldn't, honestly, inherently, he has so much material, you could make them a tag team. I've played, like, video games where there is literally just Scooby and Shaggy revolving themselves around as a tag team, you know? Like, that is just how they are in the show. So, that's one aspect of the character that just doesn't really feel right off the bat, and that's just a shame. And because this is just Shaggy, we're also not focusing on, like, you know, other variations of Shaggy. We're just focusing, I mean, we're kind of combining all the aspects of Shaggy together, so that also kind of makes him feel strange. Like, I'm not going to harp on it too much because it's got changed over time, but when the Moveset was released, his, like, picture in the HUD, in the UI, was a completely different Shaggy that this one is based on. And then, so it felt like, okay, is this meant to be based on every single Shaggy? So shouldn't we take aspects from Shaggy across, you know, the franchise? I feel like at that point, why are you using Skooks? Because, I mean, Skooks is great. Skooks is a very wonderful YouTube poop series, but it feels like Shaggy's being treated like a CDI character, where he doesn't have enough material, so like, okay, we'll throw in some YouTube poops because those are very iconic to him. And I don't really feel like that's a good idea, because I mean, but at the same time, like, you know, multiverses, it uses like he uses like a Super Shag and like a Ultra Instinct Shaggy. Those memes are very infamous. Like, what's the problem with him using them there? And I think the problem is because LOL inherently, we always get super into like making these characters. You know, like we have '60s Spider-Man, we have '60s Batman, we have Toon this, best of that. To have just Shaggy, this is just Shaggy. This isn't Skook's Shaggy. This isn't cartoon Shaggy. This isn't live action Shaggy. This is just Shaggy. So it feels like because you're trying to encompass everything by making half of his moveset YouTube poop stuff, it runs into the problem where like you're not utilizing enough of his source, and so this character just feels so incomplete. And, like, you don't need to use YouTube poops to like make this character interesting. I mean, like, I feel like I feel like what he needs is like you need to just like pull back and redecide like what is the direction this character needs to go. Is he meant to be a tag team with Scooby? Is he 70s Shaggy? Is he meant to be a Skook Shaggy? We need to like decide, you know, what is this character meant to do? Because he feels like he doesn't really have a direction he wants to go in. He's kind of like stuck. And Multiverses is going to hurt that even more because it's kind of like just doing this Shaggy concept, but better, because he is just Shaggy there. So I feel like now you kind of have to pull back and be like, okay, what do I do now? Like, what do I do with this Shaggy? And it's just a tough situation to be in, unfortunately. This is like a lot. This is a character you'd have to spend a lot of time with. But like, I feel like this character still has enough material that you could go in any of these directions, and it would work out fine. You could go with like a whole tag team idea where he works with Scooby, and that would probably be great. I think you could also just do this Shaggy, because I mean, even the lore cutscenes, Shaggy is by himself mostly. The Scooby's never really present. I feel like if you wanted to, you could literally just base a moveset on like this version of this show's version of Shaggy, and what he was very exceptionally notable for. Like, what did he do? Like, oh, he loved food. He was often like a sarcastic, especially in like a lot of like the VHS tapes where he had to take the lead sometimes. I don't know. There was a lot of like gags where things were floating. He was just more of like he was a coward, but Scooby was more of a coward as well. He was kind of like he was more very much the comedic character. And if you wanted to, obviously, you could just do Skook Shaggy. Like, there's enough material for, like, Skook's characters that people have wanted to make just Skook's Scooby at times. Like, I mean, or Fred Jones. And there's enough material that you could do that. You wouldn't... it's been dropped a bunch of times, but it is doable if you wanted to, I feel like. Yeah, though, like, there is just... I don't want to stay on this character forever. But, like... Yeah, this character is... I'm sorry. I feel really bad doing this, because I love this character a lot, personally. But yeah, I'm not a fan. I think this is a character that is probably hurt the most by not having an update patch. Especially because he's such a big and recognizable character, it hurts even more. And now he's in a multi-platform fighter, so it hurts even double that. Like, oh. It's a very rough situation to be in, and that's why I want to make it clear that I am just trying to provide feedback and suggestions, like anything I can do to help. I just want to help at the end of the day and give advice. And I don't want to make it seem like this is like the only like real modern day Law character that's being put down the slow right now. I want to make it clear that, you know, there is no hate from me. I know this character can be done well because I've seen what this Law can make. So I just know he needs some help. Alright. This is the last character right now, and is Optimus Prime. This is a very interesting character because, like, I feel like this is probably, like, I don't know. Is he my favorite of the Transformers in this Law? I feel like he might be, but I don't know. I think, like, he's cool. I like him a lot, conceptually. He has a system where he can, obviously, he's the leader, so he can, like, summon other characters to do some really interesting effects. And he can also, like, obviously his big thing is he can turn into like a truck. And that gives him like inherently like a big hitbox. But he also does it for a couple other animations as well. In the original Moveset video, I feel like the side B wasn't. It looked a little bit sluggish, but other animations I've seen in other videos when working on this are really well done. Like, there's a lot of impact in them. And he honestly doesn't feel that slow. I think that's the craziest thing, is I always interpret Transformers characters to be slow in this Law, or have a lot of like super armor or heavyweight stuff. But Optimus Prime is actually like pretty fast. He has a lot of movement, and I'm like, wow, that's actually kind of nuts. Like he is very, very efficient. I like him a lot, honestly. Yeah, no, he's cool. I like his character a lot. I'm glad we have gotten to see like a more of a Transformers character, because obviously I think Cameron clearly spent a lot of time making sure the frames really when they transform and reform, because it's like when a character does that a lot, you want to obviously keep that element. You know, I didn't really talk about this with a Headmaster Galvatron, but I feel like it's more important here. When a character wants to be fast and they're a Transformer, it's okay when they're slow, but when they want to be fast, like how do you like make that efficient? How do you make sure it's not like too slow that they can't really fight anybody, but fast enough for like not too fast that it doesn't look like it's from the source that well, you know? It's a tough balance to me. And I feel like, you know, Optimus does that pretty well, all things considered. I think he's very good at that. Yeah, no, I like him a lot. I think he's going in so good, yeah. I like him. Yeah. Alright. We'll do a quick look over. Yeah, I think this is pretty good. I'm satisfied with this first part. Some of these characters could probably go up in the future. Again, like an update patch would definitely change my mind in the future. But yeah. Next part, we will be going over the second half of... This is like, by this point, Throw Some Lawls has properly combined, so I'll be just referring to it as Throw Some Lawls or TLZ. I'm very excited to talk about this next part, because I feel like all these characters are super, super interesting. I like a lot of them, a lot. Yeah, no, I'm very excited. So, I will see you all in the next video. You all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.